Hey YouTube, Heiko here. Another random video. Want to show you a product that I really love, which sitting right here in front of you looks like a yard spray bottle, which you use to spray your weed killer or your bug spray. This is the Motive Products Power Bleeder. It's exactly what it is, a little pressure bottle that you can buy at Home Depot and pump it up. This one is of course set up for a specific purpose, to bleed brakes. There's a little pressure gauge on there, kind of important. You don't want to over pressurize your brake system, especially not your reservoir. Usually pump it up to somewhere between 10 and 15 psi. And then it has a clear hose, some brass fittings in there. I only bought the standard version, which just has the regular plumber thread female male couplers, so you have to kind of tighten this up, put some Teflon tape on maybe, and then depending on which vehicle you have to buy a reservoir adapter, which is pretty much the reservoir cap, is like mine here, with a connector for the hose. They sell those for all kinds of different brands and versions of models, years. I have one for my 77 VW bus. I have one that fits my 89 Ford. This is a 2006 Saab 9.3, which has a lot of General Motor parts in it. I wouldn't be surprised if this fits a bunch of other vehicles. Actually, my wife's 2007 Mazda is the same cap. So you always have to buy the adapter, which is the cap plus a piece of hose plus the male fitting here, and then your pressure bleeder comes with a female coupler and the hose and this fancy little spray bottle. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Yeah, let's park the camera here for a second, because with that kit you also get this little puppy. It's a bottle. That's the one that you will actually take to your brake calipers or your drum brakes, to the bleeder nipple, and then take this one end of the hose, put it on your bleeder nipple, put a wrench on it, open it up, and the pressure in this little bottle, in combination with fresh brake fluid, I don't know, yeah, you can see it. There's fresh brake fluid in here. You first connect it, of course you want to fill it first, fill it with fresh brake fluid, connect it to your reservoir by using a vehicle specific adapter, pump it up to 10-15 psi, go under your vehicle, and I don't know if I've ever shown that, but I actually have an inspection pit in my garage, which makes those projects really simple. Go under there, hook it up to one of your 4 wheel cylinders, doesn't matter, slave cylinders, doesn't matter if it's a drum brake or a disc brake, they all have a bleeder nipple. Actually my V-dub has 2 bleeder nipples on the front wheels. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. Actually, I guess I kind of know why, because it's a caliper that has 2 cylinders in it. So 2 bleeder nipples, hook it up to each one, bleed a little bit, bleed it out into the waste bottle, and you can see the fluid slowly going up. I just did brake fluid change on my 89 Ford, and I bet you the brake fluid that I got out of it was from 1989. It was almost black. It almost looked like really old engine oil. And you know, this year coming out of my Saab, it's maybe 2 years old. Really fresh brake fluid is almost clear. Yeah, maybe a little straw color to it. ATE makes a blue brake fluid, which is kind of cool. So you can alternate. You put the regular one in, and flush out the old blue one. You see, as soon as the brake fluid coming out of your caliper starts getting clear, you flushed out all the old blue one. And then next time you use the blue one again, and as soon as it starts looking blue, you know you flushed out all the clear brake fluid. It's pretty simple. With this pressure bleeder, I just bled a completely empty master cylinder on my brakes. My master cylinder failed yesterday. I did some diagnosing first. Of course, you go and look for leaks around your brake calipers, around your master cylinder. There were no leaks. I was not losing brake fluid, but my brake system would not retain pressure, or stomp on your pedal. Your pedal is not supposed to go down once you hit the wall. It's not supposed to go down to the floor, but my brake system would eventually lose pressure and the pedal would slowly go down to the floor without losing any fluid. So I could pump it and do that over and over and over again. I was not losing brake fluid. So no leaks around the wheels, no leaks around the master cylinder. Next step was bleeding the brake. So I did that already yesterday once. All four wheels, I couldn't get any air out of it. I bled quite a bit just to make sure there is nothing in the system, no bubbles in the system. And really, if you don't have a leaking system, how should air be introduced into the system? That's the other question. As long as you have enough fluid in your reservoir. I have a problem. People are always saying that, you got to bleed your brakes because there's going to be air in there. If you have no leaks, there's no air coming in anywhere. Anyways, third step then is to replace the master cylinder, because those can go bad. They have a lot of little O-rings in it, a lot of little seals. And every time you step on your brake, you're moving the master cylinder, which actually translates your pedal movement into hydraulic pressure. And when a seal in this thing goes bad, then it pretty much can't hold the pressure anymore, which can be dangerous because your brakes are not working properly anymore. I was driving back from Carson City and suddenly my brakes weren't working properly. You still have e-brake. E-brake is usually cable activated, so even if your hydraulics completely fail, you still have the e-brake. Always keep that in mind. Don't panic. Go slow. Pump your pedal a couple times. If you really lost let's say one of the brake hoses going to one of the wheel cylinders, ripped off by a rock or whatever, if you completely lose your hydraulic pressure, there are two circuits in a brake system usually. They are divided up by rear brakes and front brakes. So if you lose pressure in the front wheel circuit, you still have the rear brakes. If that all fails for whatever reason, you still have your e-brake. It's not really much, but it's better than nothing. So anyways, point for this entire video is pressure bleeder, power bleeder, Motive Products. This is the cat's meow. I tell you, I can do a full brake system flush if I want to in about 10-15 minutes. I have no need for a second person. Nobody has to pump the pedal. Nobody has to pump and then hold, and I have to open and close the bleeder valve. I put pressure in this little bottle there, 15 psi, go under my car, whatever way you do that, with a hydraulic jack or jack stands, or be safe when you do it. I use my inspection pit. I can bleed all four wheels, even on the largest of pickup trucks. And I have it's only an F-150 89, is a extended cab and a long bed, so there are quite a few feet of brake line installed in this thing, and I can bleed all four wheels plenty until black ugly brake fluid turns into clear without repumping this bottle. And it even pushes out all the air out of a freshly installed master cylinder, which a lot of shops would pre-bleed. They put fluid in there just to make sure that there's not that much air in the system. No need for it. This thing don't know how to speak. pushes the fresh fluid through the system, and as it pushes the fluid out of your reservoir down the line to your bleeding nipple, it pushes out all the air, and at the same time refills the reservoir because you have fluid in here, right? So you first fill your reservoir up to the max line with fresh. It's a good idea to siphon out the old stuff, put fresh fluid in there, hook this up, pump it up to 15 psi, and it pushes the fresh fluid through the lines and refills at the same time, and it takes no time at all to do it. This is definitely a tool that's worth the money. I think I paid $55 with the first adapter, so the bottle with one vehicle specific adapter. That's how I bought it. I think it was $55 on Amazon. Don't take my word on it. Just check. Google Motive Products Power Bleeder. They have a nice webpage. You can order stuff through them directly, or go on Amazon and search there for Motive Products Power Bleeder. And they also have a compatibility chart on their webpage where you can look up which adapter number you need. They sell those adapters individually also. They're like $14-15. There is a premium version of this thing where they call it the gold version. I don't know exactly if there's any other difference, but one big difference is it comes with quick disconnect couplers in the hose and on the adapter. So first of all, it swivels. When I turn the cap, it always twists the hose a little bit, and it's kind of a pain in the neck. You always have to get the wrench out to disconnect one adapter and put the other one on. So if you're in a commercial operation in a shop and you do a lot of different vehicles, you probably want to invest in the premium version and get the quick disconnect couplers in there. I could probably buy them at you name it, Harbor Freight, put a couple quick disconnect couplers for airline in there. They would probably work for that as well. Would be an easy fix, but yeah, I just have the simple one. I've by now 3 different adapters, so I can bleed classic VWs, I can bleed all bunch of GM and Mazda and Toyota and whatnot, and yeah, for my Ford I also have one. This is the best tool I've ever bought, hands down. Alright, I hope you like it. Look into it. I really like it, and I hope you like my videos. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you. Take care.